Hey, what's up everybody? Tony with La Lita Loca. We're back with another episode of the Cruise Geeks La Lita Loca podcast. This is episode 62. If you're just now finding this video, what you've actually found is an audio presentation of our weekly podcast. If you're really into just watching some videos, I will leave a card right now with some of our greatest cruise tip videos and also with some of our vlogs, and then also in the description below. So don't go away. If you're looking for La Lita Loca video, check it out there. But the podcast is a really great way to get some cruising content. This week we're talking about our upcoming cruise on the Carnival Breeze. The four of us are there together, Jenny, Sandy, Matt, and myself, talking about what we're excited about for the ports coming up and what we're excited about for the ship itself. It's about an hour 15. Check it out. I'll be back at the end to say goodbye.
Welcome aboard to episode 62 of The Cruise Geeks. This week we talk about the upcoming La Lita Loca Cruise Geeks group cruise. Well, this is episode 62, and we are all super excited. I'm assuming we're all super excited. Good morning, everybody. Are you guys all super excited?
Yay! Yes, I am.
Yay, I'm excited.
Why are you excited?
Because the McRib is back at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Isn't that why everybody's excited?
Well, they serve guys burgers on the Carnival Breeze.
Oh, that's right. We're going on a cruise.
Ooh, and they have barbecue, too.
Fast food obsession messes up my cruise obsession. Dang it. I don't think McRib is back, so anybody that's in their car right now, sorry.
You just disappointed a lot of people.
That's right.
Built their expectations up and then smashed them to the floor. But yeah, there is a guy's burger on the Carnival Breeze, and we're all going to be there this time next week. And there's also the Pig and Anchor, so we can get some barbecue. Probably not a McRib, but maybe some other barbecue there.
Mm-hmm.
Cappuccino del Capitano. I think that's an Italian place. Or the way Jenny says it, the Italian place.
No, that's not how I say it.
You don't say it like that?
No.
Are you saying that it's offensive when people say Italian to Italians?
I mean, I'm not going to say it's offensive.
Oh.
It's just maybe wrong.
Oh, I'm picking at a scab over here.
Is it like nails on a chalkboard, Jenny?
It is.
Okay.
There's nothing more fun than being in a crowded Walmart and yelling across to your wife at the cheese counter, "Get me some of that mozzarella cheese."
And he knows that's another word for that Italian dish you're going to be making.
That's right.
Is it only Italian stuff that sets you off? Like, what if somebody says quesadilla? Does that bother you?
A little bit.
Okay.
Me too, Jenny. Me too.
I get that.
The cool thing, though, and you guys know about it being in a relationship for a long time, is you slowly catalog all of those annoying things, and you have the uncanny knack of being able to just bring those out at a moment's notice, just so that you can show your love through irritation.
That's right. But, listen, there's things that I'm sure I say wrong.
Obviously. This week on Couples Therapy. Look, we're going on a cruise. That's the main thing.
Like, is it cannoli or is it cannoli?
It's nasty, whatever it is. My goodness.
All right,
is it chelicerae or chelicerae? That's probably just...
That's just you.
That's just me. Yeah, so let's kick this episode up because...
wait, I've got one cataloged. Is it starfish or is it sea star? That's the one that...
Oh, jellyfish or jelly.
I know that I get somebody's ire up over there.
Actually, I've been thinking about that quite a bit, and I'm kind of taking a stand. I can't take the stand at work because I'm forced not to, but I'm kind of tired of the war on the word jellyfish and starfish, because I feel like if you don't know that a jellyfish is not a fish, just not calling it a fish isn't really going to help you out too much. You're going to have to know a little bit more about them. And yet there are animals out there like the horseshoe crab, which are not horseshoes or crabs, but look much more like that. Or hermit crabs, not actually a crab. They are kind of hermits, though. But yeah, so I've decided to kind of take a stand on that a little bit and dig my heels in, just not while I'm at work.
Yeah, because think about it. I mean, jellyfish is so much in the lexicon. Could you imagine you want to use the proper terminology as an educator, and you're like, make sure to look out for schools of jelly out in the ocean. It's like, what Smuckers? They dropped the load out there. I don't know.
Is it grape or strawberry?
Grape? What's going on? Is apple butter okay to swim with? I don't know, but
I thought jelly is just something that you got with your warm chocolate melting cake on Carnival. That's
Oh,
right. As long as it's
soon.
mixed in the peanut butter.
That's right.
Too soon.
All right, well, enough of this fish talk. Let's get into some cruise news. What's going on in the world of cruising this week?
It's been a pretty interesting week in cruising as usual. Let's start off with more woes for Viking cruises. You'll remember just a couple weeks ago, the Viking Sky was stranded off the coast of Norway with engine failure and power outage, and we covered that last week. Well, this week, a Viking river cruise ship, the Viking Edom, collided with a chemical/oil tanker off the coast of the Netherlands. This happened late night, early morning, and both ships took some extensive damage. Fortunately, that damage was above the waterline. Sadly, there were 5 injuries, but nothing life-threatening. But it's just one of those deals where it was strangers in the night doing more than exchanging glances, ran smack into each other. And it caused some significant damage. They were on their, I believe it was a 10-day cruise from Antwerp to Ghent. And these are all kind of, it's like a river inlet, and it's there in the Netherlands. And the major city that it's near is Ternitsen. The hits keep rolling on for Viking, literally, and I'm sure they're ready to not be in the cruise news.
Yeah, that's definitely time to get them out of the cruise news.
But the interesting thing, and we talk about it a lot, it's the negative stories that usually do get the exposure, and so hundreds and thousands of cruises go off weekly without any incident. Just sometimes the things stack up against you, and you get to be the popular one in the news. Another news story that's like that is the Oasis of the Seas. You'll remember back in December they had a norovirus outbreak. Fortunately, they were taking some time off in Freeport to do some upgrades on the ship, and while they were there, a construction crane fell right onto the Oasis of the Seas. 8 injuries on this accident. Fortunately, none of those were life-threatening. But what it did do is it canceled the next 3 sailings of the Oasis of the Seas. That is one of the mega ships. It can house up to 6,000 people. And so you had a massive amount of cruisers this week with canceled cruises, 15 to 18,000 people that had a vacation planned that got a phone call or an email saying, look, it's not going to happen. I think they were in the know. I think that was an interesting thing. The crane crash happened, and it was about 24 hours before there was an announcement as to what would happen with the cruise. So you could imagine if you were somebody that had a cruise booked on the Oasis that time period, trying to figure out what was going to happen. Now, Royal Caribbean, they're trying to do their best. There's an investigation going on as to how the crane fell and all that. But regardless of that, Royal Caribbean said, look, we're going to give you 100% refund of your cruise, and we're also going to give you 100% future cruise credit. So you did get a cruise canceled, you got all your money back, and you're getting a free cruise. But it doesn't really speak to people that may only had this week off for vacation, or people that it's very disruptive, to say the least. But it's going to take 3 sailings off. It limped out of Freeport. That might be a not fair characterization, but it did leave the shipyard there in Freeport and made its way to Cadiz, Spain, to a shipyard there for further repairs. And then it's going to resume its sailings in May, and it's going to start sailing out of Barcelona.
Yeah, you can't really blame Royal Caribbean. I mean, I'm sure they didn't. They would have avoided this at all costs, but and they're taking care of people, but I'm sure that stings real bad if you were on those cruises.
Yeah, absolutely. Unfortunately, I've heard of some people that were able to immediately book another cruise, getting their money back and already with travel plans down to Florida. I did read an article this morning that I hadn't even considered. The hotels there in Port Canaveral now have a lot of passengers that aren't going to be there either. So the economic impact, well beyond just the cruising industry, the hotel industry there at the port in Port Canaveral also getting impacted because of this cruise cancellation.
I wonder if a lot of them went over to Orlando to go to the theme parks.
Maybe so. Fortunately, that's close, so it seems like that would be a logical next step. And then the final news story, drug smugglers targeted the MSC Opera for some shenanigans, and fortunately they were thwarted by the UK organization, the National Crime Agency, which is the equivalent to the United States' FBI. 12 people were arrested in the Portuguese city of Funchal after 18 kilograms of cocaine was smuggled onto the MSC Opera cruise ship. It street value of over $2 million. There were 6 folks that were taking this Caribbean cruise, and one of the stops was in Funchal, so they made their way through the Caribbean, and somewhere along the way, 6 of these 12 were able to smuggle this cocaine onto the MSC Opera. They did it in like potato chip bags. There were some Cheeto bags and other kind of crisp, as they call them in the UK. And I don't know what they did, if they just filled the bags as if they were chips. And then they also used some pottery, like some ceramic bowls. I'm not sure the technique that they used, but they found the cocaine smuggled in these ceramic bowls. Seems like the master plan was to get the cocaine on the cruise ship in the Caribbean, and then these 12 were going to take it out of Funchal and distribute it throughout Europe. And so fortunately, the National Crime Agency, working with the MSC Cruise Lines, they were able to thwart this plan, apprehend these folks, and keep those drugs off the street. So that's a good story. But it blows my mind, people that try to smuggle things onto cruise ships. We've been on enough cruises to see drug-sniffing dogs and all the policies and the procedures that are in place to prevent this kind of thing. So it's a pretty emboldened plan, and we hear more and more about these drug smuggling things being thwarted. So hopefully that will be enough a deterrent to slow it down. But you never know. People got a plan, so who knows? But yeah.
Drug smugglers may be not known for people making the best choices in life.
Exactly.
I mean, do people really think they can get away with it? Like, they're going to be like the ones that actually get away with it. It's just amazing to me.
I'd be interested to know what percent. Obviously, drugs do hit the street, and it's a huge financial endeavor. And so I'm assuming they just try a ton of stuff. But it does seem like on the cruise line, it's not going to be successful more times than it is. But who knows?
Yeah.
This could just be the one that got caught. So it's crazy.
Right. There may be other cases that have snuck through and we just don't know about it.
All right, well, that's the cruise news. Let's get into our news. Our news is we're going on a cruise. Have we mentioned that we're going on a cruise? Because we're going on a cruise.
Yeah, we're going on a cruise.
So we actually go next Saturday, so that's 6 days from now, but I think we'll all be meeting up previously. So 5 days until the fun and frivolity begin, I believe.
Yay, 5 days!
5 days, and if you're listening to this on Monday, it's 4 days. So, it just keeps getting better.
That's right.
I just like these numbers going down.
Absolutely.
It's gonna be an outstanding cruise. We are so stoked about it. So that's really what we want to talk about today is kind of what we're expecting to do on the cruise and a little bit about the ship and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. So really before we jump into it, I was just sitting here looking at the lovely Jenny, and we've been trying to do some cruise prep over the last couple weeks, and I was trying to think if I had to say from 0 to 100% how ready we are for the cruise. I feel like we're only like at 20%, and I don't know if it just comes together like that. I think we have a lot of... It's interesting, if you're new to cruising out there, you have to do a little bit of staging, and then there's like one big final push to get it all together. So we've done some staging things, like we washed all of our clothes, and we know where our luggage is, and we know where our documentation is. So basically, we know where everything's at. It's just a matter of getting it into its final containers. We've been a little leery because we dry cleaned a bunch of clothes, and I'm afraid to put them in suitcases and wrinkle them right now. So it's a little hurry up and wait. What do you guys think you're at percentage-wise, ready to go?
I don't know. I think we've gotten our clothes pretty much washed, or at least, I don't know. Are your clothes all washed? They probably are.
Surprisingly, no. Not all mine. Because I've been waiting for you to finish yours.
Oh. Now mine are done. Mine are
And
pretty
they're
much
done.
done. They're not all folded. There's some of them are very wrinkly, but I haven't packed anything. I haven't packed my scuba stuff. I haven't packed my tech stuff.
I would say, like the two of you, we are very much in the staging phase.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's
what
a
we have done.
process.
It is a
Yeah.
process.
What we have done is we have gotten cat sitters.
Yes.
So
Oh,
we've
nice.
got that under control.
Check.
And yeah.
Those are usually my biggest anxiety is once I get the cats squared away, I'm like, okay, I'm good.
Wait a minute. Let me just say this. Sandy is not comfortable about the cats until at least like a day into the cruise. Like there will be nervousness. Sometimes
Yes.
there's tears, and then after
Come on.
Oh, come yeah, all right, come on, yeah, right. And then the next day, by day 2 of the cruise, she's like, "What cats? Do I have cats?"
How dare you?
My goodness.
It does help that we have 3 cats, and 2 of them are a little bit older. They're not old cats, but they're a little bit older, and they're pretty laid back, mellow cats. So they stay at the house, and we have people that come over here. The other cat, she's much younger. She's just over a year old. And she is a ball of energy, but she doesn't stay here. She actually goes to a friend's house, and by friend I mean cat friend, and they have a little vacation of their own, and they play all week, and then we
Yep.
pick her up, and she doesn't want to come home at first, and we tell her she has to because she's our cat.
She vacations whenever we vacation. So
Yeah.
She's probably getting excited. If she only knew the plan, that's pretty cool.
that's right.
Right.
Yeah, so we have the big ticket items. So I start at the top and kind of go down to the bottom. We've got transportation to Florida. We've got a place to stay. We've got cruise parking secured. We know where our documentation is. So
We're ready to go.
the major
We
ones.
don't need to pack any clothes.
The major ones
That's
are
right.
pretty well checked off. We haven't gotten our travel insurance yet, and kind of the way that we do it is we really get it for emergency medical, and emergency evacuation. And so you can do that. I'll do that early this week. But so that's really the big item that I feel like still on the list to do as far as cruising goes. But yeah, we're getting close. I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, we've got a busy week. I'm sure you guys do too. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got to pick up my mom this week from the airport. We've got, we're doing the live stream.
And by
We're-
he means me.
Yes, that's true. That's true. We've got we're meeting some people for dinner on Thursday. So it's like our week is going to take off like a rocket. And,
Yeah.
And
we're
we still
gonna-
have to work.
Yes, and
Yes.
work. Exactly. In fact, I have camp tomorrow, so that's going to be a long day. So
Ew.
Wow. Well, here's a little info about the ship that we're going to go on. The Carnival Breeze, it is 1,004 feet long, 130,000 gross tons, maximum passenger capacity 3,690, houses close to 1,400 crew members, and its first voyage was in 2012. This will be our first adventure on the Breeze. You guys haven't been on the Breeze either, right?
we have not been on the Breeze, no.
No, this will be our first time. Yep.
2012, that's the year we started cruising, isn't it?
No, 11.
11, okay, but it's
Yeah.
close. It's
Yeah.
close.
Its first voyage was in 12. It actually started to be planned in 2008, and it started floating around on the seas in 2011. So if you guys want to draw that tie to 2011, it's there for you.
And it was late 2011 because it was like October of 11 that we
September.
September. It was September of October.
October?
Wait, what? Who?
Get it together, man.
It was in the fall.
I know you don't drink coffee, but you want some coffee.
2011 when we first went on the seas.
I think my brain still. We went over to the brew hub in Lakeland yesterday and tried some Carnival beers that they're brewing beers for Carnival now because Carnival's going to be putting these beers on all the ships, and so we had one of them before. They only had 2 available, but I hadn't had the other one, so we went over there and I don't know. I didn't have that many beers, just a couple, but.
And how were they? Did they compare to what they are on the ship?
Yeah, so the one was the Caribbean wheat, and it was, from what I can remember, exactly like it was on the ship, which is a really good hot weather beer. It's kind of similar to maybe like a Hoegaarden or Shock Top, but not quite the same. I like it better, to be honest. And the other one was a Parched Pig, which was a cross between a red ale and an amber ale. And it was all right. It wasn't anything that I would go out of my way looking for, But we were thinking about the fact that it's really designed to go with barbecue, and it's a good like kind of standard beer to enjoy and bring out the flavors of a tasty barbecue meal. So, I mean, I'm excited about it. I do like all of the beers that I've had from Carnival, so the fact that more are going to be available on more ships is, I think, a good thing. They're also priced pretty well too, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
Very cool. So our itinerary for this cruise, just to lay it out there, I looked at it closer than I ever have. As
Lay it on us, Tony.
Preparing for this, I don't know that I like the layout. So we're starting in Port Canaveral on a Saturday. It's a 7-day cruise. Our first day at sea will be a sea day. So Sunday we'll have a sea day. And then we go 4 ports in a row. Now, I wish I had a sea day in the middle of this, but we go to Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic. We go to St. Thomas, San Juan. We go to Grand Turk, and then we finish off with a sea day. And so it's going to be sea day, 4 days of hitting a port, and then a sea day before we get off of there. I like it, I guess, but I always like when you break up those port days with a sea day. But the last couple cruises we've been on, 7-day cruises, they only have 3 ports, and so we get a extra sea day in there. So this is going to be a little bit of a change.
Yeah, I enjoyed that on the MSC, having 2 sea days at the end of the cruise.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I guess as the lonely port person here, I'm like, there's a port 4 days in a row. But I do take your meaning there. I mean, it can be pretty exhaustive, especially if they're early ports, which I don't think these are all early ports. So that's at least a little bit nicer. Now, what would be ideal would be to have a sea day in the middle and still have 4 ports, and then have even 2 sea days at the end. That would make it like a 9-day cruise.
That would be nice.
And yeah, I'd be okay with that.
I think that's that's how we find the middle grounds there, is we just do a 9-day cruise.
Yeah.
Let's just make it 10. I feel like it should be an even number.
Numbers are better. Yeah. Well, I was thinking about our itinerary the other day too, and it is a little exhaustive having 4 ports right in a row, but I was looking at what activities we had scheduled, and I was very happy with the way we scheduled things and what we scheduled, because unlike Matt, who could be in the water 24/7, I like to mix it up a little bit. I feel waterlogged if I do water excursions every single port. So really, it's kind of evened out where, non-water, water, non-water, water. So
yeah,
it's going to be good.
Yeah, I'm only going to be in the water for 50% of the ports.
Yes.
Oh.
Are you going to be okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
I'm okay with that. You know why I'm okay with that?
Why?
Because we're doing really fun stuff, and we're doing it with really fun people. So
that's right.
I don't have to be in the water every port. Now, if we only had 3 ports and I was only in water 1 port, I would be a little.
There'd be some crying.
I'd be a little sad about that. But it's good company. It's good times.
Well, I was thinking, I kind of knew that's the way it was going to work out, and I did purchase a special bottle that I can spray your gills down on the non-water days. So I think they're going to be okay.
I need one of those suits like Abe Sapien, from Hellboy. He's got the little thing that keeps us.
That's right.
I wish I had gills. That would be awesome.
I love you, Matt.
Sandy, when we go to Amber Cove in the Dominican Republic, for me, this is I was motivated to do the excursion that we're going to do because of you. Tell the people what we're going to do in Amber Cove on our first port stop.
We're going to play with monkeys. I'm so excited. I am so excited. And I'm so glad you guys are coming with us, because it was so much fun. As you know, I've done this excursion before when we were in Dominican Republic, one of our past cruises, and it was probably one of the best experiences that I've ever had. Yeah, as long as they give me food this time to feed those darn monkeys.
I got no food.
I'll be a happy camper. It'll be fun.
I would just say, too, that my mom, who went on that with you, says that it's her favorite excursion she's ever done, and I wasn't there.
Well,
what's up with that, Mom?
With both of us saying it's got to be true,
right? They got the double Sandy seal of approval.
That's
Two
right.
Sandys equal good. So we're going on the official Carnival excursion. This is $89.99 per person. It's called Monkey Jungle and Dominican Flavors for Families. I'll just read you the first line of the description. Meet our wonderful squirrel monkeys at Monkey Jungle. That sounds really good. Just they've marketed it well, and I guess after we do the monkeys, we actually do get to go to a house that doesn't have electricity and possibly water to see how some of the remote locals live, and we get to try the last line of the advertisement here is a sample organic countryside coffee, which I think Jenny will like that, and the magical and medicinal drink called Mama Joanna. So I guess we're going to get to try some Mama Joanna, which I didn't think we were going to do that on a cruise, and it seems legal, so I'm excited. That's called the Mama J locally, I guess.
We bought some of that in Dominican Republic, and
I bought some of that when we did the excursion in La Romana, and they usually do, like, they've got, of course, a couple tours running concurrently with each other, and so you may go to the house first and then do the monkeys, or do the monkeys first and then go to the house. But yeah, we got to sample coffee, hot chocolate, and the Mama Joanna.
Mama Joanna.
Which honestly, it was a little bit cough syrupy tasting.
yeah, I'm hoping maybe it's a little better if we taste it.
Yeah, it's like that might be Dominican code word for castor oil, which I don't even think that's a thing in our lifetime, but still, it could be.
Yeah.
Well, it is medical Mama Joanna.
That's right, Mama Joanna.
And they claim to have a lot of things that is used for and helps with. So it'll be interesting.
It's Dominican snake oil.
Yes.
It might be exactly what we need at the end of our first day there in Amber Cove. And then we're going to St. Thomas the next day, and I know we have different excursions. What are you guys doing in St. Thomas?
So we are going on a catamaran snorkel, and the highlight of this is that you typically see sea turtles.
Oh.
And so the catamaran is a fun boat to ride on, and then they're going to dump us in the water, and hopefully there's going to be some green sea turtles or hawksbill sea turtles or maybe both, and we're going to get to swim around with them and have a little snorkel experience. And then does this one go to the beach, Sandy, or is it just the turtles?
I think it might have a short stop at the beach, but it is a Carnival excursion. We booked through Carnival, and it's called the Turtle Cove Sail and Snorkel.
Yeah, and then the kind of cool thing is that it'll get us back early enough that we'll have time to do something probably in St. Thomas, like whether we go shopping or just walk around and look at stuff, because St. Thomas is a really cool port to just kind of walk around, and it's very scenic, and so we're super excited. We've only been there one time, and we went to the aquarium, which was neat, and then we did a little bit of that walking around then. So we're pretty excited to kind of explore St. Thomas for a few minutes.
And what's on your agenda for the day?
So we booked the Carnival cruise ship excursion called Magens Bay Beach and Sky Ride to Paradise Point. So those are two of the more popular attractions there in St. Thomas. I believe this one cost us $53.99 per person. And it works. I believe they take you over to Magens Bay, which is one of the world's most beautiful beaches. It's regarded by many travel sites as the place to see. And we're going to have 2 hours at Magens Bay, really just for a swim and to hang out on the beach, which Jenny and I are not specifically beach people, so it should be fun. Hopefully we can find some shade, but I think it will be fun to swim. We got to see it. We were in St. Thomas just 40 or 50 days ago, and we went up on the mountaintop that overlooked Magens Bay, and it was beautiful from our vantage point. So now I'm looking forward to jumping down and seeing it right on beach level. And so we've got 2 hours at the beach. There's a bar there, a gift shop. They have food, so we'll try some of that. And then they're going to bus us over to pretty close to the cruise port. There is this sky ride to Paradise Point. And Paradise Point is one of those lookout spots that you can look over much of the island. You can, of course, see where the cruise ships are docked. You can see islands in the distance. And it's a kind of a gondola ride. So we'll get to go up a mountainside in a gondola, get some cool views. It's like a 700-foot above sea level where this lookout point is. So we get to do that. And then they also, it's right next to this thing. I was going to ask you guys if you ever had this Bushwhacker. One of Jenny's cousins, that's one of her favorite things to do in St. Thomas is to go drink Bushwhackers. And I don't know if it's famous just there in St. Thomas, but I remember when we passed Paradise, the sky ride to Paradise Point, they had this huge sign like, try the Bushwhacker. And so I can see coming off of that, you go up to the top of Paradise Point, you look around for a while, take your photographs, and then you ride it back down and shop. And then you ride it back down, and you're basically right across from the cruise ship. And so, like you guys said, there'll be some time for walking around. And I might walk around enough to find one of these Bushwhackers. That might be on my agenda.
We have not had a Bushwhacker.
No, I have had a Bushwhacker.
Have not had a Bushwhacker.
Au contraire, my
The
friend.
truth comes out.
Did you have one in St. Thomas?
I'm not saying
No.
Sandy drinks.
No,
I'm not saying she
in
doesn't.
Nashville, there was a place that had a Bushwhacker.
Yeah.
Yes, I've had a Bushwhacker here in St. Pete
Oh.
at the daiquiri deck.
Yeah, I think I have too.
Yes.
It's a banana flavored thing, right? Is it banana?
I don't remember.
To look it up.
See, the
I don't
one in
remember.
Nashville was almost like a chocolate milkshake.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know what
okay,
the one
that's-
in St. Thomas is.
Right. So having tried it in St. Pete, I am curious to possibly try one in St. Thomas to see, because, it is the drink of St. Thomas. So I want to see what how it compares and how it's different. So
Well, if the time aligns and the moon hits at the same time, maybe we'll all be there at the same time done with our excursions.
I just used
That's right.
used the Google machine for some extra information. The first pictures I saw do look like that chocolate drink that we've had on the Carnival ship. What is that one
The
called?
Mocha Getaway?
Something like that, yeah. It looks like a chocolate milkshake with chocolate down the side. The Bushwhacker is a cocktail invented in 1975 at the Ship Store Sapphire Pub at Sapphire Village in St. Thomas, similar to a creamy chocolate pina colada. So the original recipe: vodka, Kahlua, dark creme de cocoa, and Coco Lopez, which is cream of coconut. So it sounds like it's a frozen Mounds bar, maybe.
It sounds like we might have to try that.
I don't like frozen drinks. I might have to have a sip, but that does sound
We'll
pretty
share
good.
one.
Yeah.
yeah, I'm totally in for trying one of those.
Awesome.
Yeah, that sounds divine.
Yes.
I think, is that where the banana daiquiri, is that where that's supposed to be popular too? in
Yeah.
St.
Yeah.
Thomas?
Yeah.
And
Okay,
we did that the
I think
last
that's where I
time.
had
We
the
went
banana.
to the mountaintop, the home of the famous banana daiquiri. It was, I would just say it's okay. Like I don't know why it's famous, but I think putting it up on top of the mountain and all that, it was a really cool spot. But I wouldn't go back for the banana daiquiri. That's just my untrained, don't drink much opinion.
I want a banana bushwhacker. I want a banana daiquiri bushwhacker.
You want to combine the two?
That does sound good.
Because I love banana and chocolate,
Chocolate,
together. Like that's a winning combination. You throw in a little
Absolutely.
peanut butter, and then we're rolling. But
Ooh.
So that's our day in St. Thomas. The next day we go to San Juan, Puerto Rico. We don't have any official excursions planned. The cool thing about the port there at San Juan is there is many, many things within walking distance. So I think at least our plan is to do some walking around and find some local food. We don't always do that. And I think San Juan is a good food town with a lot of interesting Puerto Rican dishes. And so we're going to try to find some food in San Juan. What do you guys have on tap for San Juan?
So we are being left to the tour guides of Roy and Amanda Shows, who are admins over on La Lita Loca, and they've been there a couple times, and they're going to do a walking tour of food and drink. So that is on our agenda as well.
Oh,
We'll
nice.
try some local fare, and whether it's hard or liquid form. We're gonna enjoy a lot of that. So yeah, that's what we're doing too. Nothing official planned. Just hang out, walk around, and get some stuff.
Yeah, and I think the goal is to try to find the street where all the umbrellas
Oh,
are
Yeah,
hung.
Fortaleza Street. Yeah, it's very cool.
Yes, definitely some picture opportunities there.
We were in San Juan on our last cruise, and I wandered around with Don Terrace from the YouTube channel Don's Family Vacations. And a couple highlights for us was Fortaleza Street at night. I would like to see the umbrella installation during the day. And then we were able to find these guys on the square that had parrots where you could take pictures with parrots. And so I kind of would like to get Jenny over there because it was really fun. I had never done anything like that before. And one of the highlights for me was just this simple 10-minute interaction with the parrots. And so I think it would be fun. And it's not too far from port. So For me, I'd like to go back to Fortaleza during the day, see the umbrella installation when it's not dark, and then get Jenny with a parrot on her head.
I think you're really getting me out of my comfort zone here a little bit. Monkeys, parrots,
Lions, tigers, bears. Oh my.
It'll be fun, Jenny.
We did have a bird back when the kids were young, but I don't know, about 5 of them sitting on me.
A boyd. Did you
They
have a
don't weigh
boyd,
much,
Jenny?
so you don't have to worry. Like, they're pretty lightweight. Like, you wouldn't even know they're there.
That's right. What I didn't catch on film is
peck
when the
at
one
you.
was pecking at my eye. So other than that, no, I'm just kidding. The birds were super well behaved. I would recommend it. And it was really inexpensive. If you've seen our MSC Seaside vlogs when we were in San Juan, I think I was with the birds for who knows how long it was. I never timed it, but I would say between 5 and 10 minutes. And they were very helpful taking pictures with my phone, and they only charged like $5. It was really super
That's
inexpensive to have that experience, and I felt well worth it.
Yeah, that's good, because you hear stories about people going places and they're like, you want to hold this bird? And the next thing you know, they're asking for like $40, and you're like,
Well,
what?
that kind of happened to your mom when we were in Curacao.
Yeah, with iguanas.
Yeah, the guy was holding a couple of iguanas, looking for people to take him up on picture opportunities. And he basically, obviously Matt's mom is an animal lover, so she was all excited. But, he just put an iguana on her and then two iguanas.
It
So
might have been 3.
$20 was what he charged for a couple pictures with these iguanas.
But she was happy to.
Right.
She was happy to pay
So
that. but it
$10
would've been
per
nice to know
iguana,
that
I guess.
in advance. Like he didn't. Like I figured that he was going to ask for something, but
Right.
I thought maybe like $5-10, and then it's like, what if we didn't have $20?
Oh, she
cash?
easily plunked down her money, though.
Oh yeah,
That's for sure.
she claims that was one of her highlights too. So
Yeah.
she had a good time, but just a little,
Yeah, it doesn't
$40.
always work, but I always lead in with that money question. That's worked out well for me. Like, I looked the parrot people in the eye and I said, how much does it cost for these parrot pictures? Because I'm so paranoid like that. I'm pretty laid back, but there's a couple things that will put me sideways. And when I feel like I'm getting taken advantage of like that, it just makes me challenged, because it's like I'm doing my best to be on vacation anyways, and now I've got to manage this. We had a crazy experience when we went to Havana, Cuba, in their market there. It's literally 50 to 60 people just bum rushing you, just coming right up to you, trying to drag you around. And if you're not prepared for that, which I don't feel like I was prepared for that, it's a little trying. So now I'm a little bit on the defensive when I go to these places, making good eye contact and asking strong questions, and because I don't like that uneasy feeling of, like you said, somebody plopping a bunch of stuff on you and then asking you for money.
Yeah.
So San Juan should be a lot of fun. And then the next day, I think back in the water in Grand Turk.
yes.
Again, we don't have any hard and fast plans. I think we talked off the air about you can just jump right off the cruise ship and go swimming, like the world's famous Jack Shack with the cute dog Topher is just right up the beach. And so you can have a beach day without spending any coin, without a taxi ride, by just getting off the cruise ship. Is that kind of your plan for Grand Turk?
Yeah, so as soon as you get off the ship, you go through the little port area, and there's a beach right there, and it's literally right in front of the ship. And then the beach just goes off to the left. Like if your ship's at your back, the beach just goes off to the left. And the Jack Shack is a little bit of a walk down there. You can take a cab if you want, but you can walk down the beach. I've been to Grand Turk a few times. I've only went diving there and snorkeling there, and it's only been from boats. But apparently the snorkeling right off the beach, right in front of the ship, is pretty good. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to jump in that water and see what I can find. It's a very rocky bottom, which is good for marine life. And then we're going to head down to Jack Shack and meet Topher the dog and Calypso the dog and have a good time. So yeah.
Yeah, I might dip in the Margaritaville pool.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, we did that last time we stopped in Grand Turk, and it's a really nice pool experience. So
help me out with this. I don't go in the water much. We don't go on beach days. I don't go swimming at restaurant pools. Do you dress for that? Like, do you wear your bathing suit, or do you go change your clothes a couple times, or do you just feel like you're going to spend most of the day in your swimsuit and some sandals? that's always some logistical stuff. I don't like walking around in wet clothes, and so, but I don't want to have to quick change like 3 or 4 times either. What's the plan for that?
Well, we normally dress for the day. We suit up, put our suits on, and put our swimsuit cover-ups or whatever we're wearing, and that's pretty much our clothing for the day. And we just plan to stay in those clothes for the day. And usually we'll, when we know we're done in the water, we sit out long enough to kind of dry so that we're not walking around in squishy clothes.
Yeah.
So we just kind of plan for that. And I think that just comes from living in Florida and we're used to kind of living in swimwear. So
I think the first 3 years that I lived in Florida, I wore swim trunks as my normal everyday shorts. So I was always
just in
prepared
case
to get in the water.
just in case he could jump in the water.
But
Absolutely.
The port area at Grand Turk, it's like if you go kind of to the right or straight ahead, it's a very well established port area with lots of shops. It's very kind of modernized, I guess you could say, similar to what they have in Mahogany Bay and Roatan, or almost like Cozumel, Mexico. And then there's a huge pool area, and Amber Cove's kind of like this too. There's a huge swimming pool area that's free that people can get into, and then Margaritaville and some of these places are around it. So there's a lot of outdoor seating and everything, so it's kind of built for people in swim gear, but usually you dry out pretty fast if you're in that area, so it's not too much of a concern, but I don't know if walking around with wet swim trunks can cause some other issues for me. So
Same here.
I have to wear the proper undergarments to keep everything smooth and slick. So is that TMI?
It's real for most of the male population. You don't want to get chafed.
Nope.
You don't want to feel. That's the worst. Fortunately, that's our last day, but we've got other swimming opportunities. And without coming right out and saying it, I completely don't want to feel uncomfortable in that way. And so I'm always like, all right, I'll just figure out how to change my clothes. But then you got to carry a bunch of junk around with you. But I tell you what, Sandy, you called out Margaritaville. I still love those places. I had a blast at Margaritaville in Cozumel, and I like the Senior Frogs. And so I think that's a good message to share with the audience there. If you don't want to do something local and you don't have to navigate that, many of these ports have Margaritaville, Senior Frogs, Three Amigos, where it's just like going to Chili's, except it's somewhere else and it may cost a little more, but it's a real easy experience to go get your drink and your food on with things that are familiar. So yeah, that Margaritaville sounds pretty good. So it sounds like we're going to spend the last day, our last port day, as a beach day, and then we will slide into our final sea day on the cruise ship. Now, there's a lot to do on the Carnival Breeze. The sea days are going to be great days for exploration. And we touched on it earlier, some of the interesting things that we can try food-wise, talking about Pig and Anchor and Cappuccino del Capitano. But are there any things on your guys' list that you're super forward to looking and trying on the Carnival Breeze?
One of my things, I want to try the Seafood Shack again. Give it another chance for that lobster roll.
The Seafood Shack, it's a little old place where we can... That's not the Seafood Shack. So we tried the Seafood Shack on the Carnival Liberty. The main thing for us is we wanted to try lobster rolls. We have a long and storied history with lobster rolls, and we heard they were good on the Seafood Shack, and I would say they were good. They were not the biggest lobster rolls we ever had for extra money, but man, we had a set of fried seafood that was not delish. No. I'm not running back for the fried seafood. So when you say you want to try the Seafood Shack again, I'm a little bit shocked, but I think I will be eating a lobster roll, but I don't know if I'm getting back into that fried seafood.
No, that's all I want, is just to give the lobster roll another chance.
All right, well, good. Then I'll let you do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there's any resentment there that they got rid of Tandor for the Seafood Shack. But
there is some resentment.
From
both of us.
Non-resentment.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
I'm excited about the Red Frog Pub.
Ooh.
Yeah, me too.
Because, it's great when you get on a ship and they've got the Blue Iguana tequila bar and the Red Frog rum bar. But what's even more fun is when they have the actual Red Frog Pub, because it's usually a really, really cool place to just hang out with friends, and they have a lot of drink options. And on Breeze, I believe that they have some really good outdoor seating at the pub, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, I love the Red Frog Pub. I think it's my favorite like spot that's not just a generic spot on Carnival ships. It's if it's a good full pub, then it's just nothing like it really. And if they have the outdoor seating, even better. And that's what I'm looking forward to on the Breeze is the outdoor areas. That's what I really love about the Carnival Vista is that outdoor area. And it's not just a deck that you walk around though. It's there's stuff to do there. All the restaurants and bars have seating out there that kind of extend out into that area. And that's my favorite thing to do is to be able to, I don't want to sit inside on the ship in the Caribbean. Like I want to smell the sea air, but I don't necessarily want to be by the swimming pool either. So that's like the perfect thing. You can sit in the shade, feel the breeze, watch the water, and enjoy a Carnival beer or, whatever, eat some barbecue. It's perfect. So that's the thing I'm really looking forward to on this ship is that outdoor area and especially where the Red Frog Pub is.
That sounds really cool. I tell you, on our MSC cruise, we tried their Pan Asian restaurant that had sushi. That was the first time I'd tried sushi at sea, and that really kind of gave me a taste for it. So I'm excited that the Carnival Breeze has the bonsai sushi, and I definitely want to try that. And then, I don't know if it could be good or it could be bad, but I have a little bit paranoia about robots. And I feel like they're taking over the world. Or maybe I've just watched The Terminator too many times. But on this ship, there will be my first experience. They have a bar that's associated with the library, which I thought was interesting. They have a library bar. And they've tried to trick us a little bit. They've positioned smart robots there that will serve you wine. So there's a pour-your-own wine station at the library bar. And I believe they do have a pour-your-own beer here. So I'm definitely going to be on robot reconnaissance on this cruise. I'm going to be trying to scope out how they're trying to take us over by pouring our beverages. But yeah, so that's there. And then something we've never done on a Carnival ship, we've never been to the piano bar, and we've never gone dancing in the dance club. I think we got to go to the nightclub at least once, Jenny, just to see if we can still get our groove on at almost half a century.
Boom.
What do you think?
Absolutely.
I don't think there's going to be any boom chicka boom boom music there. This isn't a nightclub in the 1930s. I mean, I think it's going to be a little more,
Who is in the 1930s? I'm talking about the 1980s.
Boom chicka boom boom. It sounds like a rah rah, go team go.
Okay.
Just kidding, Jenny.
To me, it sounded like a boom chicka boom boom.
It's cruise week. Look, I'm getting them. Somebody take the shovel away from me. I feel like I'm digging a huge hole here. Are there any must-dos on your list, stuff you've never tried on a Carnival ship before that you want to try?
I'm excited that we are going to try the spa a little bit.
Oh.
Yes.
SPA.
Yeah, we have a spa interior cabin.
Clothing optional. What are you talking about? I hope not. Jenny.
They have
what did you book?
The lasso therapy pool that I'm really excited about.
Is that why they call it the Breeze? Because it's clothing optional?
That's right.
But
that's what I was saying about Grand Turk. I just don't feel comfortable wearing that Speedo around all day. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, now we know. Okay, I get it.
I just kid.
Well, yeah, so we also have... So we booked for the first time an Aft Balcony, which we're really excited about. And I was able to actually get us the day passes for the spa for all three of us. So we're looking forward to that too. We did spa passes on the Norwegian cruise that we took a few years ago, and it's pretty amazing. It's nice to have that access, whether you use it a lot or even just a little bit. So that should be fun.
I'll tell you a couple other things. I'm looking at a picture of the Carnival Breeze right now, and a couple things that I'm looking forward to that I haven't really experienced is I've experienced water slides, but they have the one with that big kind of bowl that you go into, and I've always wanted to do one of those, and I have never done one of those, so I'm excited about that. And then the other thing that they have, which I don't think we've had this, maybe we have, is they have the hot tubs that are right on the side of the ship. So it's part of that like walk around area, and they kind of even jet out from the side. So it's that looks really, really cool to experience. So those are two more things. There's a lot, actually.
You might actually get me on the water slide this time.
Really?
Ooh.
I'm not promising.
Really? Huh.
Not promising anything, but might be able to be talked into it. We'll see. I'm sure Roy and Amanda are going to try their best to talk me into it.
Oh yeah, yeah. And of course we have reservations for the steakhouse.
Yes.
And we've done that a couple times before, and it's always an outstanding experience. So super excited about that as well.
Yep. I'm also looking forward to maybe catching a couple dive-in movies on the Lido deck in the evening. So
I heard they're playing Aquamat.
Yeah, I want to catch a couple movies with my friend Ellen and watch Aquaman.
Oh, I thought maybe
you
they were
can
gonna show
join us,
videos of me diving
Aquamat, but we'll see. So, are there any shows or anything you guys are looking forward to other than Roy and Amanda?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a big fan of the theater shows. I've never seen the lip sync battle play out in the theater. I know that lip sync battle, they have these auditions on the Lido, but basically it's all about dancing and singing along to a song. It sounds pretty silly. I've never checked it out. I kind of would like to check it out. They're going to have that in the main theater, and then they just have their normal stage shows. I haven't watched a Carnival stage show in a while, so I'll probably check it out just to see what they might have that's different. I'm looking forward to seeing some of the names of the shows. And of course, big for me and big for us is karaoke and comedy. So I'm sure I'm going to be planted somewhere in a karaoke lounge multiple times during this cruise, and definitely check out the comedians to see what they've got going on.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few of the stage productions now.
We?
Yeah, even you.
Have I?
But I'm hoping that they are showing Flick, which is one of the shows they do on several of the ships. We had a chance to see it on Vista, but because we had some rough weather that night, they couldn't do the show as it's really intended to be done. It was more of a sit on stools and just kind of sing the songs. So I'm really looking forward to, if they have it, seeing it as it was fully intended to be shown. So
I'm excited about that too. So if Matt bails on you, Sandy, Jenny and I will go to the shows with you. But
all right, it's a deal.
I did get an email late yesterday to my my email account that Jenny doesn't have access to, and there was a notification that said that the casino will be closed for renovation on this cruise. So I just wanted to put that out there right now. I hate to drop the bomb like that on you, Jenny, but what do you think?
There's casinos at port.
Jenny said we'll find a casino somewhere. No, I'm looking forward to testing the fates, checking out another cruise casino.
Well, we'll actually get onto a ship that has some craps tables.
Ooh.
It's going to be some late nights. That's the other reason I'm not super excited about these ports being stacked up, because my cruising habits for the last few cruises, get up early, go all day, go to shows at night, and then spend 2 or 3 hours gambling late night and not go to bed till 2 or 3 o'clock. So it's going to be an endurance race. I guess I need to sleep extra this week to keep it going, but I'm looking for I'm up for the challenge.
Well, like Matt said, some of the ports are, like the first port we get in at 9. St. Thomas is not till 11. Puerto Rico's 8 a.m.
Ooh.
But the good thing is we don't have anything at Puerto Rico.
Right.
Right.
You know, to be timetabled. And then Grand Turk is not till noon.
That's not bad.
No.
What time will we leave Puerto Rico? Is that a pretty long day?
8 to 4.
Yeah, it's going to be a nice long day.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only thing is, like, you know, all those that's really cutting into my casino time.
They don't keep the casinos open during the port days. They will open
they're
it
just
up in
odd
between the
hours.
ports. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know, and of course, I'm looking forward to the Blue Iguana breakfast burritos.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Always. But, you know, I think the thing I'm looking forward to the absolute most is that we're going to be sailing together again, the 4 of us, which is going to be awesome. And we're going to be with some amazing people that we've all met virtually and we've been talking to via, you know, messages and live chats. But I'm excited to meet them all in person and get to hang out for a whole week.
I tell you, Sandy, me too. I'm so excited to get on the high seas with the both of you again. And, you know, yesterday, with seeing pictures of people meeting and making their way down to Florida for this cruise, it got me super excited to meet everybody finally.
Yeah, I'm absolutely the same way. We do have so many relationships, and it does seem like that face-to-face is when the connection is the most complete. And so I'm looking forward to transitioning some of those relationships from virtual into face-to-face. And then, it's a group cruise. So we have group cruise activities, right? We're going to hand out trophies and have competitions and have dinners together. And so to me, it's almost like it's a cruise within a cruise. We're going to have this wonderful experience on the breeze, but then we're also going to have this wonderful group cruise experience. We experienced it just a little bit all together when we went on that first one back in October. It was more than I could have expected. It was such a great time. And so, yeah, part of the anticipation is, of course, the cruise, but like you guys said, the greater anticipation is these new connections, these new shipmates, these new cruising buddies we're going to have, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to kick back outside on the deck, like Matt said, with a beer in hand and talking to War Eagle?
That's right. War Eagle is a guy in our cruising community named Mark Robinson, and his favorite team is down there in Alabama, Auburn, and that is their battle cry, War Eagle. So shout out to Mark if you're listening. Well, I think that about covers it. I think if we talk about it anymore, I'm going to be so excited that we won't be able to finish. And there's still a couple more things that we have to talk about on Cruise Geeks episode 62. And one of those things is the cruise creature. Now, I can already see, so when we record this podcast, just to give you a little BTS, that's lingo for behind the scenes, we can see Matt and Sandy via webcam. And I'm just looking at Matt, and you can tell this dude is already excited that he's going to get he said sea turtles, and I thought his whole face turned red. I thought he was going to pass out. He's so excited to go on this cruise. Matt, what is the cruise creature this week? And just give us a little preview. What do you you were so excited when we cruised together last because you got to see an octopus, which was definitely on your list of things to see. Do you have a little list for what you hope to see here, and what are you excited about, and what's the cruise creature?
I don't have a little list. I have a list, but it ain't little. Well, I tell you what, a lot of people have claimed to have seen octopuses in Grand Turk right off the beach. So anytime I see an octopus is a good day. But I have seen 2 hawksbill sea turtles while I was scuba diving. I've seen loggerhead sea turtles scuba diving. I've never seen a green sea turtle scuba diving, and I think that's the species we're most likely to come across when we are down in St. Thomas. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But really, I'm just looking forward to seeing anything. I mean, I'm always hoping to see a shark. That doesn't happen that often, but anything at all. So for this cruise creature, I was kind of thinking about that. Like, what are some species that I've covered? I have a list of all of the animals I've talked about on this, and I was looking through it, and I was trying to figure out, I was tempted to do the green sea turtle, but I actually covered them way back when. So I didn't want, and I did a Kemp's Ridley sea turtle last week, so I didn't want to do sea turtle again this week. So I thought, well, what have I not done a lot of? And it occurred to me, I haven't done a lot of marine invertebrates. So we're talking animals that do not have a skeletal structure made out of bone. And one of them that I haven't covered at all, well, I kind of touched upon it when we did the symbiotic episode, is the sea anemone. So I want to talk about a specific species of sea anemone, the species that I see most often when I'm in the Caribbean, and I'm hoping to see some on this one. They have a few common names. One of them is the giant Caribbean sea anemone. Another one is the purple-tipped or pink-tipped sea anemone. Ooh. So yeah, these are pretty impressive animals, and they are animals, which may not be that obvious when you see them, because you look at them, they look like sort of a bunch of tentacles waving around, and mostly that's pretty much what they are. But they are animals, and they do move around. If you put a time lapse on them, they're actually quite busy creatures, and they're moving around. They're just on a different time than we are. They move a lot slower. And so the giant sea anemone, the giant Caribbean sea anemone, by giant I don't mean that they get like 6 feet across or anything like that. We're talking like this animal is about a foot across, maybe at its biggest, maybe a little bit taller or a little bit wider, but they're kind of a whitish to tannish colored animal with usually purple, sometimes pink tips on the end of their approximately 100 tentacles.
Oh, wow.
That are waving around. So if you want to imagine what this looks like, if you haven't seen the movie Finding Nemo, it's sort of a cylinder. If you think about it, it's like a cylinder with tentacles coming out of it. And that's basically what we're talking about. They're related to coral and they're related to jellyfish. So they sit on the bottom and these tentacles wave around and they wait for something to come by, and then they have the same little stinging cells called nematocysts that jellyfish have, and coral has these as well. And so they sting their food, and then they take the tentacles and they pull it into their mouth, which is right in the middle of all those 100 waiting tentacles. Now, they can give you a little bit of a sting, but it's not painful like a jellyfish. Some people might be sensitive to it, but for the most part, like, you can go to places where you can touch sea anemones, and the ones that they have available to touch, hopefully in aquariums and that sort of thing, they're going to be ones where it just feels sticky, and those are those stinging cells that you're feeling reacting to your touch. But when they sting a small animal, like a little shrimp or crab or something of that nature, it is paralyzing, and they sting them, they wrap their tentacles around, and they just pull them into the mouth right in the middle, and inside is the stomach where they digest the animal.
Wow.
And then when they're done, they excrete the waste through that same opening. So what I'm saying is their mouth is the same as their aft.
They've got a little bit of a potty mouth.
They got a little bit of a potty mouth, and so don't stick your finger in that hole because it's rude, and they don't like it very much. But the crazy thing is these animals are mostly water. So even though it might be a fairly large anemone, if it gets kind of nervous or scared, what it'll do is it'll get rid of the water in its body. It'll even pull the tentacles in, and it reduces its size quite a bit and just makes it, I guess, less appetizing. Like, oh, look at that big tasty anemone. Oh, it's just a little lump now. So that's kind of the way they protect themselves. And we talked about symbiotic relationships a few episodes back with the clownfish. There's another species that is specific to these anemones, but mostly in Bermuda, and it's a little bitty tiny shrimp. And the crazy thing about this shrimp is that they actually will get stung by the anemone, so they're not immune to it at first. So what they do is they will sort of press their bodies against the tentacle, I guess, carefully. And they have to do this for like an hour and 40 minutes. There's a scientific paper. It's very specific. An hour and 40 minutes to build up this immunity. And then after that, the sea anemone doesn't recognize them as a food source. And so the little nematocyst cells don't fire off. And the shrimp can live in the safety of these tentacles, and they can eat the crumbs, and then they make crumbs, and the anemone gets to eat those. So it's a good, healthy relationship. But if they leave that anemone for a while, or they go to a different anemone, they lose their immunity and they have to go through it all over again.
Wow.
So yeah, so pretty cool. But you'll see these animals a lot of times in rocky areas. They can be in shallow water, they can be in deep water. You'll see them sort of tucked in a lot of times to a little rocky crevice or something like that. And they stand out because it kind of looks like big thick noodles with little purple on. Most of the ones I've seen have had purple on the end. I have seen a couple of the pink ones, but they're really interesting animals, really pretty. And the cool thing is, if you see one and then you want to show somebody, it's still going to be there when you get back. On this, maybe not another cruise, but if you like come back 5 minutes later, it's still going to be there, so you can show everybody this really awesome sea anemone.
So these are also on display there where you work at the Florida Aquarium. That's in part of that
Yes.
touching area, right? When we visited you there, we got to have some hands-on with the sea anemone, right? And it was
Yes.
pretty cool. Such an odd texture. And I couldn't imagine being a shrimp trying to build that relationship. Like, oh, I could get eaten, but hopefully he accepts me. It's like, the shrimp that gets eaten. It's like, you were the chosen one. But still, I tell you what, I wish my wit would have been quicker earlier when you said, have you ever seen Finding Nemo? I would have said Finding Neo, the documentary about the casting of the Matrix. I think that would have been a better joke, but I didn't get there in time. But no, a cool cruise creature, and hopefully I can rent some snorkel gear, because I might try to snorkel with you a little bit there in Grand Cayman and maybe see something cool like this. I could imagine that would show up pretty cool on some underwater film too. So I'm using underwater film. It's the 1960s, but you know what I'm saying. I think it would show up cool on
I went back to the 1930s, so
Wow, chicka, wow, wow. Well, I like that cruise creature, and man, I can't believe we're this close to cruising. I'm getting so excited. I guess the only thing left to do is to give a cruise tip and wrap up episode 62 of the Cruise Geeks. This is what we've been dealing with this week. We're getting ready to pack. I don't know if everybody else is like this, but we spend a lot of time on Amazon the couple weeks before we go cruising, and things that we learned from our last cruise. I don't think we had a full-on leak in our luggage the last time, but this does remind us of something that we needed to purchase that we're going to purchase this week. You do take a lot of these little travel, at least us, we take a lot of these little travel liquids, whether it's a wrinkle release or lotion or shampoo, and all of those liquids have the potential to leak out onto your stuff. And we have not been really diligent in the past to put those things in something that's waterproof. And so we are going to get a container that's waterproof, some sort of travel carry thing, specifically for liquids to prevent leakage in our luggage. Because once you pack your cruise luggage, you guys know how it is. Sometimes you got to sit on that suitcase to zip it up, and then you're toting it around, throwing it around on the plane or in the car, and then they're throwing it around. There's a good chance that some of your liquids are going to leak out and get on your stuff. Have you guys ever had any leakage during your packing, or have you always had forethought as to keep them watertight?
I don't know that we've had forethought, but I don't think we've been lucky, I think.
I've had some forethought.
Oh,
being
I should have
the
known that.
main packer
That's
in
right.
this relationship. I've had some forethought. I can't say that, I'm the best at making sure that things don't leak, but we've never had a leak, and I'm hoping that we never do. But I do.
That was me knocking on wood.
I do feel like I kind of step up my game every time I go to pack. So I think there probably will be some extra precautions put into place this time around.
Yeah, I think I know I've had potential for that to happen, and it hasn't happened, but it's something I should think about.
Yeah, and I put some things in baggies, that kind of stuff. So really, it didn't get on our clothes. It just got within my makeup stuff.
I sense there's a story here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir.
How dare you? So that's the cruise
So
tip.
yes, that's what we are doing today.
Yeah, we're going to get us
Yeah.
a watertight deal. And another one, just a little bonus. When you go to port, you might want something that's waterproof also. I know some people, instead of leaving their valuables on the beach, they get a waterproof bag and just bring it to sea with them. They go out into the ocean with all their stuff secure in a watertight bag. So that's smart and scary at the same time, because if you lose that bag in the ocean, that's scary. But again, it's another technique to use.
Very cool. Yeah, I like that tip, and a valuable one. You don't want to have to deal with some sort of weird chemical leaking on your clothes, perfume or toothpaste or any of that stuff. So
Tony smelled really good, like flowers.
All my t-shirts had a floral smell to them. Which made the search for Neo all that much harder.
the monkeys will love you, though.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
If you guys want to find more of Tony and Jenny, make sure to head over to the La Lita Loca YouTube channel, where you can get tons of tips. Tony's been like a video making, I won't say robot, because I don't want you to take that the wrong way, but machine. And he's been producing a video every day for what, like, you're doing 30 in a row or something
31
like that?
in a row. We're on day, we released day 26 today. So it's a cruise tip a day for 31 days. And it's a interactive deal. We're inviting people to come leave their cruise tips. So it's really almost, if you look in the comments, I've been blown away by the comments on these videos. There is such a rich knowledge of experienced cruisers. You can really get a lot of information just by looking through these 31 videos in the comments. It's blowing my mind.
So go over and check out La Lita Loca on YouTube. Also go to their Facebook group, the La Lita Loca Cruising Community. That's where most of these people met that are going on the group cruise. There are so many people over there that you can meet, interact with. So many great people. Check it out.
And if you want to see more of Matt and Sandy, they are at the Cruise Geeks YouTube channel. They do a weekly live show. And if you want to see what our trip was like on the Carnival Breeze, there's going to be a lot of cool content creators on there. You'll be able to see content on the Cruise Geeks YouTube channel. You'll be able to see stuff on La Lita Loca. Our friend Roy and Amanda Shows, they have a YouTube channel. Our friends Ann and Stephen Boyce will be on the cruise. They have a YouTube channel. There's another YouTube channel of folks we're getting to know called The Lido Life. A lot of people on this cruise are going to be making cruising content, cruising entertainment. And so make sure that you join us at the Cruise Geeks YouTube channel. Make sure you join us at La Lita Loca, and we'll get you connected to all these people. So it's you can get a really good look of what's going on the La Lita Loca Cruise Geeks group cruise coming up in just 5 days.
Ooh, this cruise is going to be so well covered. That's going to be awesome. I am looking forward to that. I am really.
There's going to be cruise content for weeks,
but it's going to be good because
it's
going to be different things, and it's going to be awesome.
Yep.
Fantastic.
Well, that's it, folks. That is episode 62 of the Cruise Geeks. Thanks so much for stopping by. Thanks for all of the kind words that we've seen on the review sites like iTunes, and we do appreciate everybody tracking along with us week over week. Big welcome to all of our new members. If you have any questions for us, send us an email at thecruisegeeks@gmail.com. And if you need help planning your vacation, there's no better planners than Jenny and Sandy. Send an email to geeketstravel@gmail.com, and we can help you book your cruise, or we can just answer your cruise questions. There's a lot of ways to get a hold of us. But I guess we got to get out of here and pack. This is Tony.
And I'm Jenny.
And I'm Sandy.
And I'm Matt, and we are the Cruise Geeks.
And until next week, I say keep it geeky, my friends.
And have a fantastic week. Hey, thanks for tuning in, everybody. I just wanted to make a note. I realized while I was editing that I made a comment that I had seen hawksbill sea turtles and loggerhead sea turtles scuba diving. Just want to clarify, I have not actually observed any sea turtles, or any other turtles for that matter, in the act of scuba diving. I have, however, been scuba diving and seen sea turtles. Just wanted to make sure I was clear on that. It's almost cruise time.
That is the weekly podcast. Hopefully it tickled your ears with the cruise content you were looking for. Leave a comment below if there's anything you'd like us to cover in the podcast, or if there's any questions that we could answer. Thanks so much for stopping by the channel. If you enjoyed this presentation of the podcast and you like the podcast in this form, leave a thumbs up on the video, leave a comment below, consider subscribing to the channel. This is Tony with La Lita Loca, and until the next time, we'll see you on the Lido.